Your life will never rise higher than the standards you set in your mind. Let that sink in for a second. If you're here right now, it's not by accident. You already know something has to change. You felt it. Maybe it's that frustration of knowing you're capable of more, but not seeing the results you want. Maybe it's the quiet voice in your head telling you there's another level waiting for you if you're willing to claim it. This isn't about motivation. This is about taking control of the one thing that shapes everything else in your life, your mindset. Success doesn't start with luck. It doesn't start with talent. It starts with a decision to think like a winner and act on it every single day. In this video, I'm going to walk you through exactly how to reprogram the way you think, the way you move, and the way you show up in your life. You'll learn how to flip the mental switch that separates the people who succeed from the people who settle. We'll get into how to delete the old thought patterns that have been slowing you down, how to build new ones that drive action, and how to develop unshakable discipline that doesn't depend on motivation. If you've ever felt stuck or like you're capable of more but haven't figured out how to break through, this is the piece you've been missing. And I'm not giving you theory. Everything you're going to hear is practical, simple to apply, and designed to give you clarity on how to take control of your mind and your results starting right now. If you stay with me through this video, you're going to have a clear step-by-step strategy to build daily discipline, resilience, and long-term success. Not next week, not next year, starting today. So if you're ready to stop living life on autopilot, if you're done settling for potential, and you're ready to start producing real outcomes, stay locked in. Because by the time this video is over, you'll know exactly how to think like a winner, and more importantly, how to live like one. Let's get into it. Chapter 1. The Success Switch. How to flip it in your mind. Success isn't something you wait for. It's not something you stumble upon by accident or something someone hands to you because you're lucky. Success is built brick by brick, day by day, and it starts in one place, your mind. Every dream you have, every goal you set, every future you desire, it begins as a single thought. And here's the truth most people ignore. Your life will always move in the direction of your strongest thoughts. What you think, you become. What you believe, you act on. And what you act on, you create. If you can control your mind, you can control your life. This is the most important thing you'll ever understand about success. And once you understand it, once you live by it, everything changes. This is where people get it wrong. They think success is something external. They think it's about the money in your account, the car in your driveway, or the job title on your resume. But that's not success. Those are just byproducts. The real success happens inside your head. The real victory is mastering yourself, and the winners in this world, the people who rise above, the ones who create lives most only dream of, every one of them has made the same decision. They flipped the success switch in their mind. They decided they were done waiting, done doubting, done settling. They made the decision to think like a winner, and they never looked back. And if you're watching this right now, if you're listening to these words and feeling something stir inside of you, then it's your time to do the same. You are here for a reason. You're not here to be average. You're not here to get by. You're here to lead. You're here to rise. And it all starts by flipping that switch. Now, let's talk about how that happens, because this isn't about motivation. This isn't about hype. This is about something real, something permanent. Something that will shift your life in a way that you can't even imagine right now. You see, inside your mind, there is a switch. You can call it belief. You can call it discipline. You can call it focus. It doesn't matter what name you give it, but it's there. And when it's off, you drift. You doubt. You procrastinate. You play small. You hesitate when you should act. And you give up when you should push through. But when that switch is flipped on, you are unstoppable. You move differently. You think differently. You carry yourself differently. You don't wait for opportunities. You create them. You don't hope things will get better. You make them better. And you do it because you made up your mind. You've decided this is who you are now, not someday, not when things are perfect, right now. And here's what I want you to understand deep in your bones. That switch, you control it. No one else. Not your past, not your circumstances, not your friends, not your family, not your boss. Just you. It's always been you. You don't need permission to flip it. You don't need someone to tell you you're ready. You are ready now. And the moment you decide, everything else will start to shift. You won't have to wait to feel motivated. You'll be disciplined enough to take action without it. You won't care if you feel tired or uninspired. You'll move because it's who you are now. You'll stop questioning if you're good enough because you've already decided you are. That's the power of flipping the switch. I need you to understand something else. You've been conditioned your entire life to think a certain way. Maybe you grew up hearing you weren't smart enough, strong enough, or lucky enough. Maybe you've been told to play it safe, to stay in your lane, to be realistic. Maybe you've been carrying those voices in your head for so long that you think they're yours. They're not. They're noise. And it's time to turn them off. Because you cannot think like a winner and hold on to a loser's mindset. You cannot move forward if you're still chained to the past. You have to decide to delete that programming and install something new. You have to rewrite the story you're telling yourself. You have to create an identity that matches the life you want to live, and you do that by flipping the switch. When you flip it, you start seeing opportunities where you used to see obstacles. You start finding solutions instead of focusing on problems. You start doing the things you used to avoid, waking up early, working harder, saying no to distractions, staying disciplined when no one's watching, showing up when you're tired, pushing when you feel like quitting. That's how winners move. That's how they think. And the difference between you and them is not talent. It's not resources. It's not connections. It's the decision to flip the switch. Now let me tell you something powerful. The world will respond to the energy you bring. When you show up with the mindset of a winner, people notice. They respect it. They want to be around it. Doors start to open. Opportunities start to appear. Not because they weren't there before, but because you're finally tuned into them. You're moving differently now. You're thinking differently. And when you think differently, you act differently. When you act differently, you get different results. But this isn't just about results. This is about becoming the kind of person who creates those results over and over again. Anyone can get lucky once, but winners aren't lucky. They're consistent. They have standards, and they refuse to drop below those standards no matter what's happening around them. They're not controlled by circumstances. They're not swayed by emotions. They show up because they made a decision to show up, and they do it every single day. That's what happens when you flip the switch. And listen, I know it's not always easy. I know there are days when you'll feel like giving up, when doubt creeps in, when old programming tries to pull you back. That's why this isn't a one-time decision. It's an everyday decision. You wake up and flip the switch again and again and again until it's not even a decision anymore. It's just who you are. So here's what I want you to do right now. I want you to make the decision, not tomorrow, not next week, right now. I want you to say it out loud. I'm flipping the switch. And when you say it, I want you to mean it, because this is where your life changes. This is where you stop wishing and start working. This is where you stop hoping and start believing. This is where you stop doubting and start becoming. And when you do, you'll realize something powerful. You were never stuck. You were never broken. You were never lacking. You were just waiting to flip the switch. Now you've flipped it. Now you're in control. And the world is about to see exactly who you are. Because you've always had the power. You've always had the choice. And now you've made it. This is where your story changes. Welcome to the winner's mindset. Now go out there and live it. Chapter 2. Delete and replace erase failure programming. Everything in your life right now, every result, every outcome, every single experience you are having is being shaped by the programs running inside your mind. You might not see it yet, but the thoughts you repeat to yourself, The beliefs you've accepted without questioning and the assumptions you've carried around for years are writing the story you live every single day. If that story isn't what you want, if it's holding you back, making you feel stuck, or convincing you that success isn't for you, then it's time to do something about it. It's time to step up and delete the old programming that's keeping you from the life you deserve. It's time to delete and replace. Because if you don't like what's showing up on the outside, you have to change what's happening on the inside. Success starts in your mind, and your mind runs on the software you allow to stay there. You weren't born with limitations. You weren't born with doubt, fear, or insecurity. Those were installed little by little. They became your default settings. Maybe someone told you that you weren't smart enough, or that you weren't the kind of person who wins. Maybe you failed in the past, and that failure planted a seed that grew into hesitation and self-doubt. Maybe you've been surrounded by people who live small lives, and now their mindset has become yours. But listen closely. Just because that programming is running in your head doesn't mean you have to keep it there. You have the power to delete it. You have the power to replace it with something stronger, something that serves you instead of holding you back. The moment you decide to take back control over what you allow in your mind is the moment your life starts to shift. Understand this. Your brain is like a computer. It runs programs every single day, and those programs determine how you think, how you feel, and what you do. The problem is, a lot of us are running outdated software. We're using old belief systems that no longer fit where we want to go, and because we don't realize we can change it, we keep getting the same results over and over again. It's like trying to run a brand new life on a system that hasn't been updated since you were a kid, and you wonder why things aren't working the way they should. You wonder why success feels hard, why discipline feels exhausting, why growth feels impossible. It's not because you're broken, it's because the program you're running doesn't match the life you want to create. And until you delete the old code and install something new, nothing changes. Now, I'm not saying this is about positive thinking or slapping a smile on your face and pretending everything is fine. This is deeper than that. This is about getting brutally honest with yourself about what's really going on inside your head. What do you believe about yourself? What do you say to yourself when things get hard? What story are you telling yourself about who you are and what's possible for you? Because if that story is full of limitations, full of doubt, full of excuses and reasons why you can't, then that story has to go. Not tomorrow, not someday, right now. You cannot build a new life on top of a broken belief system. You cannot move forward if you're carrying a mindset that keeps pulling you back. And I get it. Changing the way you think, rewriting your mental code, it sounds like a big job. But here's the truth. You don't have to overhaul everything at once. You just have to start. You start by noticing the thoughts that aren't serving you. You start by catching the moment you say, I can't, and instead saying, I'm learning. You catch yourself when you think, I'm not good enough, and you replace it with, I'm growing stronger every day. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be intentional. And when you do it often enough, you start to believe it. You start to see yourself differently. And when you see yourself differently, you act differently. That's how change happens. That's how success begins. Let me tell you something that might hit you hard. Your mind is always listening. It hears everything you say, whether out loud or in your head, and it believes you. If you keep telling yourself you're lazy, your mind believes you and makes you act lazy. If you keep saying you're not capable, your mind believes you and makes you hesitate. But if you start feeding your mind something new, something powerful, it believes that too. And when it believes that, everything about you changes. Your actions change, your habits change, your results change. You don't have to force it, you just have to reprogram it. And it starts with the words you use and the beliefs you choose. The world out there can be brutal. People will doubt you. Life will challenge you. But if you've got your mind right, nothing can stop you, because it doesn't matter what happens around you. What matters is what happens inside of you. When your programming is solid, when your beliefs are strong, you can handle anything. You can rise above anything. You can keep moving forward when everyone else quits. That's the power of deleting and replacing the old broken software that doesn't belong in your mind anymore. And I want you to know, you're not alone in this. Every winner you look up to has had to go through this process. They had to do the same work. They weren't born thinking like champions. They weren't handed unshakable confidence. They created it. They built it, step by step, thought by thought, belief by belief. They chose their programming, and so can you. So will you. Because you wouldn't still be listening if you weren't ready for it. So how do you do it? You start by becoming aware of your default thoughts. Pay attention to how you talk to yourself, especially in the quiet moments when no one else is around. Listen to the stories you tell yourself about your potential. If those stories are negative, if they make you feel small, it's time to delete them. Don't argue with them. Don't fight with them. Just let them go and then replace them with something that lifts you up, something that makes you stand a little taller, something that makes you move like the person you want to become. It might feel awkward at first. That's okay. It's supposed to. You're breaking old patterns. You're building new pathways in your brain. It takes time, but it's worth it. And as you keep doing this, as you stay consistent, something incredible happens. The new programming becomes automatic. You don't have to think about it anymore. You don't have to force it. It becomes who you are, and who you are shapes what you do, and what you do shapes the life you create. This is how you become unstoppable. This is how you think like a winner. It's not about pretending, it's about transforming. It's about deciding who you are, and then thinking, acting, and living from that place every single day. So if you're ready to delete the old failure programming and replace it with something powerful, something unstoppable, then the time is now. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't wait to feel ready. You are ready. You've always been ready, and this is your sign to go all in on yourself, because no one else is coming to do this for you. No one else is going to hand you a new mindset. It's your responsibility. It's your decision, and the moment you take control, the moment you decide to delete and replace, your entire life will begin to shift. And when that happens, when you feel that change happening inside of you, when you realize you're not thinking the same old limiting thoughts, when you catch yourself believing in yourself without even trying, that's when you'll know. That's when you'll know you've done the work. That's when you'll know you're becoming the person you were meant to be all along. It all starts in your mind, and the mind you build today will create the life you live tomorrow. So delete the old programming, replace it with the mindset of a winner, and watch what happens. Watch how everything begins to change. Because it will. It always does when you do the work. And you, right now, listening to this, you are doing the work. You are becoming that person. And the world better be ready for what's coming, because you are just getting started. Chapter 3. Upgrade your mental software. Every single day, you are programming your mind whether you realize it or not. The thoughts you entertain, the words you speak to yourself, and the things you choose to focus on are shaping your reality. Your mind is a powerful tool, and it's running like software, constantly receiving input and giving output. Now, imagine what could happen if you took control of that system. Imagine if you deliberately upgraded your mental software with precision, clarity, and purpose. Imagine walking into your life each day knowing that your thoughts are sharp, your decisions are clear, and your actions are aligned with your highest self. This is not some distant fantasy. This is what happens when you take the time to upgrade your mental software. And when you do, life doesn't just change, it transforms. The truth is, you cannot live an upgraded life with outdated thinking. You cannot create a powerful future if you are still operating on the same broken programs that kept you stuck in the past. What worked for you before, when you were just trying to survive, when you were just getting by, won't work for where you are going now. Growth requires an update. It requires a fresh way of thinking, a higher standard of mental discipline, and it requires you to actively participate in the process. Because nobody can do this work for you, and nobody can stop you from doing it either. Now, this might hit home for you right now. Maybe you've had moments where you felt stuck, where it seemed like no matter how hard you worked, you weren't getting closer to where you wanted to be. Maybe you've put in the hours, read the books, made the plans, but you're still not seeing the breakthrough you've been chasing. That's not because you're incapable. It's not because you're unworthy. It's because you're trying to build something new on top of old systems. And those systems are glitching, they're outdated, they're filled with bugs that keep you looping through the same cycle of frustration. It's time to wipe the slate clean and install the mindset that matches your mission. This isn't a tweak, it's a total upgrade. And here's where things get powerful. You don't have to wait until you feel ready. You don't have to wait until you've read every book or taken every course. You just have to decide that today you're stepping into a new level of thinking. You're stepping into a mindset that demands excellence, that rejects excuses, and that refuses to entertain anything that doesn't push you forward. You have to make the decision to upgrade, and then you follow through with action every single day. Let me break this down in a way that you can feel deep in your core. The thoughts you think every day, they are the code that runs your life. If you keep thinking small, you will live small. If you keep doubting yourself, you will move through life hesitating when you should be charging ahead. But if you upgrade those thoughts, if you intentionally install beliefs that serve your future instead of your past, you'll notice something incredible. You'll start taking action with more confidence. You'll start making decisions faster with less fear. You'll begin to attract opportunities that align with the person you're becoming, because that's the natural outcome when you upgrade your mental software. Now, I'm not talking about fake positivity here. I'm not saying you should sit around telling yourself life is perfect when it's not. What I am saying is that you must take control of the input that's shaping your mind. You have to become the programmer of your life. You have to decide what stays and what goes, and you have to do it with clarity. If you don't, your mind will be programmed by default, by your environment, by the opinions of others, by past experiences that no longer have a place in your life today. That's what happens when you leave it to chance. But when you step up and take control, when you say, "This is who I am now, and this is how I think," everything shifts. And I need you to hear this, because it's so important. You don't have to fix your past to create your future. You don't have to have it all figured out. Before you upgrade your mindset, you just have to start. You start by asking yourself, what do I need to think to reach the next level? You begin by identifying the limiting beliefs that keep running in the background, like malware, slowing down your system. Or get clear on what no longer serves you and then make a conscious decision to replace it. Replace doubt with belief. Replace fear with courage. Replace hesitation with action. That's the upgrade, and it's available to you right now. Imagine this. You wake up in the morning. Instead of dragging yourself out of bed, thinking about everything that could go wrong, you wake up focused on everything you're building. You approach the day with purpose, clarity, and energy. You stop wasting time on things that don't matter. You stop entertaining negativity and distractions. You protect your mind like it's the most valuable asset you have, because it is. You don't just think differently, you move differently. You carry yourself like someone who knows they're on a mission. You show up with discipline because it's who you are now, not something you do when you feel like it. That's what happens when you upgrade your mental software. And here's another thing, people will notice. They'll feel the shift in you. Your energy will be different. Your conversations will change. You won't entertain gossip or negativity anymore because it doesn't align with your program. You'll surround yourself with people who are also leveling up because you won't settle for anything less. You won't need validation from anyone because you'll have certainty within yourself. That's the kind of upgrade that turns ordinary people into leaders, into winners, into unstoppable forces of nature. But you have to be willing to do the work. You have to be intentional about what you allow into your mind. You have to guard your mental space like it's sacred, and you have to stay consistent. This isn't something you do once and forget about. This is a daily practice. Every morning you wake up and decide, I'm upgrading today. Every night you reflect on what served you and what didn't, and you adjust. You stay committed to the process because you know the outcome is worth it. You don't quit on yourself. You don't slip back into old ways of thinking. You hold the line. You stay disciplined. That's how you win. So if you're watching this right now and you're feeling that fire inside of you, that pull to step up and live at a higher level, this is your moment. Don't wait for someone to give you permission. Don't wait for a perfect time. The time is now. Upgrade your thinking. Upgrade your standards. Upgrade your life. Take full responsibility for the software running in your mind. Make sure it's aligned with your vision, your mission, your goals. And if it's not, change it. You are not stuck with the mindset you have today. You have the power to rewrite the code and design a life that reflects the best version of who you are. You've got the tools, you've got the ability, and you've got the decision to make. Are you ready to upgrade your mental software? Are you ready to step into the mindset of a winner? Because once you do, there's no turning back. You'll never settle for less again. You'll never think small again. You'll never live below your potential again. And the world won't know what hit it, because you'll be moving with clarity, confidence, and unstoppable energy. This is your time. This is your moment. Upgrade your thinking. Upgrade your life. And let's get to work. Chapter 4. Break the Comfort Zone Code. Greatness doesn't live in comfort. Growth doesn't happen when everything is easy. The life you dream of, the version of yourself you know deep down you can be, that future only exists on the other side of discomfort. And the truth is, every person who has ever achieved something extraordinary, whether it's building a business, mastering a skill, transforming their body, or creating a life that turns heads, every single one of them had to break the comfort zone code. They had to make a choice that most people refuse to make, the choice to leave behind what feels safe, predictable, and familiar, the choice to step into the unknown, where things are harder, more uncertain, and often uncomfortable. But that's where the power is. That's where life starts to shift in ways you can't even imagine right now. And the moment you understand this, you're already ahead of 99% of the world. Because now you know staying in your comfort zone isn't keeping you safe. It is time to break free. No matter how long you've been stuck, and no matter how long you've been playing small, you can make the decision today to break out. Break the code that's kept you trapped. When you do, when you finally step outside of that old familiar life, you'll realize something powerful. It was never as scary as you thought. You'll realize you are far more capable than you believed. You'll realize that everything you wanted was waiting for you just outside of what was comfortable. Think about it. Every time you've leveled up in life, it's because you did something uncomfortable. You took a risk. You had a hard conversation. You made a commitment that scared you. And on the other side of that discomfort, growth, strength, progress, success. So why would this time be any different? Why would stepping out of your comfort zone now be anything other than the path to the next level of your life? It won't be easy, but it will be worth it. Here's how it works. The first step out of your comfort zone is always the hardest. It's the moment when your old self fights back the most. It's the moment when your mind comes up with every excuse possible to keep you stuck. It's not the right time. What if you fail? What will people think? That's your old software running on autopilot. That's fear talking, and the only way to shut it down is to take action before the voice gets louder. You take the step, you make the move, you go before you're ready. You act while you're still scared, because if you wait to feel ready, you'll be waiting forever. Picture this. Every time you take an uncomfortable action, you expand your comfort zone, you make it bigger, and the things that used to scare you become normal. What used to feel hard becomes easy. What used to make you nervous becomes part of who you are. The more you expand your zone, the more room you have to grow, to move, to win. That's how it works. Winners are not fearless. They just get comfortable being uncomfortable. They make discomfort their new home. Once you learn how to live there, you become unstoppable. Now, some people will tell you to take baby steps, to ease your way out of your comfort zone. Sure, that works for some. But if you're here right now, if you're watching this, I know you're not here to play it safe. You're here to go all in. You're here to burn the old script and write a new one. So I'm going to tell you this straight. Don't tiptoe out of your comfort zone. Kick the door down. Do the thing that scares you. Make the move that makes your heart race. Say yes to the opportunity that feels just out of reach. That's where the magic is. That's where the growth is. And that's where you'll find the life you're meant to live. When you make this your lifestyle, not just a one-time event, you'll notice something incredible. You'll build momentum. You'll gain confidence. You'll start to trust yourself on a whole new level. You'll stop hesitating. You'll stop overthinking. You'll start acting. And that action creates results. Those results create belief. And that belief makes you even bolder. It's a cycle, a powerful, unstoppable cycle. But it only starts when you decide to break the comfort zone code. You are not your limitations. You are not your fears. You are not the old story you've been telling yourself about who you are and what you're capable of. You are potential. You are power. You are possibility. But you'll never experience any of that if you stay comfortable. So, make the choice today. Step out of what's familiar. Do the thing that scares you. Push yourself past what's easy. When you do, you'll unlock a version of yourself you didn't even know existed. A version that's strong, disciplined, focused, unstoppable. And if you stay consistent, if you keep stepping outside the old limits, your life will change in ways you can't even predict right now. You'll look back 6 months, a year from now, and you won't even recognize yourself. You'll wonder why you waited so long. You'll realize that the only thing standing between you and the life you wanted was the comfort zone you were afraid to leave behind. But not anymore, because today you break the code. Today you step into the life you're meant to live. The world is about to see what happens when you finally get uncomfortable and stay there. This is your time. This is your move. I promise you, it's going to be worth it. So, go get uncomfortable, get moving, and don't look back. Because everything you want is waiting for you just on the other side. Chapter 5. The Winner's Morning Formula. The way you start your morning determines everything. It sets the tone for your mindset, your energy, your focus, and how much power you bring to the day ahead. When you win the morning, you build unstoppable momentum that carries you through the rest of the day. When you lose the morning, you're playing catch-up, reacting instead of creating, surviving instead of thriving. If you want to live like a winner, if you want to operate at your highest level, you need a morning formula that locks you in, sharpens your mind, and activates the version of you that refuses to settle for average. And I'm telling you right now, this isn't about waking up at 4 a.m. just to say you did. It's about waking up with a purpose, a mission, and a system that turns you into a machine of discipline and focus before the rest of the world even opens its eyes. Success doesn't sleep in. Success doesn't hit snooze. Success doesn't wake up and scroll through social media, comparing itself to everyone else. Success wakes up early, on fire with intention. Success gets to work while the world is still quiet. Because that's when you build your edge. That's when you develop the mindset of a winner. You don't rise to the top by accident. You build yourself brick by brick. And the first brick of every single day is your morning routine. This is the winner's morning formula. You need to understand something. Your brain, first thing in the morning, is a blank slate. Whatever you put in there first is going to dominate the rest of your day. If the first thing you do is roll over, check your phone, and flood your mind with notifications, distractions, and negativity, then you're already playing from behind. You're already letting the world dictate your mood, your energy, your focus. And if that's how you start your day, how do you think the rest of it is going to go? You'll be scattered, reactive. You'll be chasing instead of leading, and over time, you get used to it. You start believing that's normal, but it's not normal. It's a choice, and you can make a different one. When you wake up with purpose, when you create a ritual that primes your mind for success, everything changes. You move different, you think different, you feel different, and when you feel different, you act different. That's what we're after here. You're not just creating a routine to check off a box. You're creating an environment where you can show up at your best every single day, whether you feel like it or not. Because winners don't rely on feelings. Winners rely on systems. Here's how it works. The first thing you need to take control of is your state, the way you feel physically. You can't walk into your day dragging yourself around like you just crawled out of bed and barely survived the night. You need to get your energy up immediately. Whether that's splashing cold water on your face, doing a quick workout, or standing tall and breathing deeply, you need to move like someone who's ready to dominate. Move like someone who's about to attack the day and win. Your body controls your mind more than you think. If you move slow, you think slow. If you move with power, you think with power. It's that simple. The next thing is your focus. Before the distractions hit, before anyone else needs something from you, claim your focus for yourself. Sit down. Get quiet. Close your eyes if you need to. Visualize what you're building. See yourself winning. See yourself finishing the workout, closing the deal, sticking to your discipline. Winners don't just see what's in front of them, they see beyond it. They have a vision so clear it pulls them through the hardest days. This is where you lock in your focus. Decide right there in the morning who you are and how you're going to show up, not just for yourself, but for everyone around you. And then feed your mind. The brain is hungry when you wake up. If you don't feed it something good, it's going to feed on whatever garbage it finds first. So feed it with something powerful. Read a few pages of a book that makes you think bigger. Listen to something that challenges you, something that lights a fire in your gut and reminds you why you started this journey in the first place. Your mind is your most valuable asset. If you're not training it daily, you're leaving your success up to chance. Winners train their minds before they do anything else. They program their thinking like they're programming a machine, because if you don't install the right software, you can't run the right programs. And if you can't run the right programs, you can't win the game. Every single day is a battle for your focus, your energy, and your belief. If you start your day unarmed, you're already losing. Now hear this clearly. Your morning formula doesn't have to look like anyone else's. This isn't about copying some influencer's perfect routine. This is about building something that works for you, something that gets you in the zone. Maybe that's writing down your goals. Maybe it's a workout. Maybe it's 10 minutes of silence where you just breathe and get centered. The details don't matter as much as the discipline. What matters is that you commit, that you show up for yourself every morning like your life depends on it. Because it does. And I'm telling you right now, if you stay consistent, if you keep showing up even on the days you don't feel like it, something incredible happens. You build momentum. You build trust in yourself. You start to believe, at a deep level, that you are the kind of person who follows through, who does the work, who sets the tone for their own life. That belief drives everything. It's not the morning routine that makes you a winner. It's who you become by sticking to it. The world is full of people who want the results, but aren't willing to do what it takes to get them. They want the access, the recognition, the freedom, but they won't get up early. They won't take control of their time. They won't carve out the space to work on themselves before the world gets in their way. That's not you. You're here because you're ready to live differently. You're ready to be the exception, to be the one who sets the tone, to be the one who shows the world what discipline, focus, and consistency look like. Your morning is your time. Time to get your mind right, to get your body moving, to get your spirit aligned with your purpose. When you do that consistently, it shows up in everything you do. in how you speak, how you move, how you think, and how you lead. People notice, they can feel it, and they'll wonder how you did it. They'll ask you for the secret, and you'll know it wasn't a secret. It was your morning formula. It was the decision you made over and over again to take control of your life from the moment you opened your eyes. And if you're sitting there thinking it's too late to start, that you've wasted too much time, let me tell you something. It's never too late to take control of your life. The only thing that's too late for is tomorrow. You can't change tomorrow until you act today. So start now. Don't wait for the perfect time, the perfect plan, or the perfect conditions. They don't exist. What exists is this moment right here, where you decide that from now on you own your mornings. You set the tone. You lead yourself before you lead anyone else. And the best part, once you start living this way, you'll never want to go back. You'll never want to hit snooze. You'll never want to waste the first part of your day again, because you'll know deep down what it feels like to wake up with power, with purpose, with clarity. You'll know what it's like to be the one who sets the standard instead of chasing it. And that feeling is addictive in the best way possible. So if you're ready to step into that version of yourself, if you're ready to build a life where you're in control, it starts tomorrow morning. It starts when you get out of bed and choose discipline over comfort. It starts when you take 5 minutes to set your focus before the noise of the world tries to distract you. It starts when you decide you're no longer living by chance, you're living by choice. And that choice happens first thing in the morning. This is your time. This is your season. And the winners are already up. They're already working. They're already building the future they want. You're either going to be one of them, or you're going to watch them from the sidelines. But not you. Not anymore. You're done watching. You're done waiting. From now on, you run your mornings. You run your life. And everything is about to change because of it. Chapter 6. The 90-Day Winner Habit Sprint. If you want to create a life that commands respect, if you want to build a future that makes people stop and ask, how did they do it? Then you need to master one thing most never talk about: consistency. Not motivation, not talent, not luck. It's about showing up every single day and doing the work, whether you feel like it or not. And if you truly want to win, you need a system. You need a framework that holds you accountable and pulls you forward. This is where the 90-Day Winner Habit Sprint comes in. Because nothing will change in your life until your habits change. And nothing will transform in your life until you prove to yourself day after day that you can stick to something long enough to see results. A lot of people talk about goals. They get hyped up about New Year's resolutions. They make plans in journals. They buy courses. But you and I both know hype wears off fast and fades the moment life gets hard. The moment you get tired, you stop feeling excited. That's why discipline and structure are more valuable than motivation will ever be. You don't need to feel like it when you've got a system that works. And if you're serious about upgrading your life, your mindset, and your habits, this next phase is about doing the work in a way that guarantees growth. This is your time to install habits that build the identity of a winner, day by day, brick by brick, for 90 days straight. Now, let me tell you why this works. 90 days is enough time to see real change, not just surface-level change, but deep transformation. When you commit to 90 days, you're giving yourself enough space to push past that initial excitement, to move through the discomfort, and to build something that lasts. Habits are like planting seeds. You don't see results the first day you water them, or even the first week. But if you stay consistent, if you keep showing up, you start to see growth, real, undeniable growth. And if you stay with it, what once felt hard becomes automatic. That's the power of repetition. That's the power of 90 days of relentless focus. Here's the part that most people don't understand about creating habits that stick. It's not just about what you do, it's about who you become. Every action you take is a vote for the type of person you believe yourself to be. If you wake up early and hit the gym, you're casting a vote for being disciplined. If you sit down and do the work even when you're tired, You're reinforcing the identity of someone who follows through. And when you do this over and over, your identity shifts. You stop trying to force it. You stop fighting with yourself. You just live it because it's who you are now. But here's the key. You have to keep it simple. This isn't about overwhelming yourself with a million changes all at once. That's why most people fail. They try to change everything and end up changing nothing. You need to focus on the fundamentals, the things that move the needle, the core habits that, when done consistently, will pull every other area of your life up with them. And you need to stay ruthless about showing up for them every single day. I'm going to tell you something that might sting a little. Most of the results you don't have right now are because you've been inconsistent. You've been on and off. You start strong and then disappear. You make promises to yourself and then break them when it's convenient. And I get it. Life gets in the way. We all get tired. We all get distracted. But none of that matters when you've made the decision to become disciplined. Winners show up regardless. They do the work whether they feel like it or not. And the only way to build that kind of mindset is by proving it to yourself through action. This is where the 90-day sprint comes in. You make a clear, focused decision about the habits you're going to build. You commit to them every single day, no exceptions. You track them. You hold yourself to a higher standard, and you stop making excuses, because this is not about perfection. It's about consistency. You don't need to be perfect, you just need to be relentless. Think about what could happen if you stayed locked in for 90 days. What if you didn't skip? What if you didn't make excuses? What if you made discipline non-negotiable? 90 days from now, your body could look different. Your mindset could be sharper. Your energy could be through the roof. You could be living like the person you've been talking about becoming for years. But none of that happens unless you start. And none of it lasts unless you stay consistent. And I want to make something clear here. You're not doing this for external validation. You're not doing this to impress anyone else. This is for you. This is about building trust with yourself. Because when you tell yourself you're going to do something and then you follow through, you start believing in yourself at a deeper level. And that belief is powerful. It's what separates people who talk from people who execute. It's what turns ideas into results. And once you have that belief, nobody can take it from you. Now, I know life gets messy. Things will come up. You'll have days when you're tired, when you're stressed, when you just don't feel like it. But that's the point. The 90-day sprint isn't supposed to be easy. It's supposed to stretch you. It's supposed to force you to level up. And it's supposed to show you what you're really made of. Because if you can stay consistent when it's hard, you can stay consistent for life. And that's when you win. You need to get clear on your non-negotiables. What are the habits that will move your life forward if you do them every single day? Is it waking up early and training your body? Is it reading 10 pages of a book that expands your mind? Is it planning your day with intention before you do anything else? Whatever it is, get clear, write it down, make it real, and then commit to it like your life depends on it, because in many ways, it does. Your future depends on what you do right now, not what you say you'll do, not what you hope to do, what you actually do. And when you commit to 90 days of focused, disciplined action, you build a foundation for a lifetime of winning. You teach yourself that you can be relied on, that you can trust yourself, and that you are exactly the kind of person who follows through. I need you to hear this. The life you want is not out of reach, but it does require a different version of you. A version that doesn't wait for perfect circumstances. A version that doesn't break promises to yourself. A version that shows up no matter what. And that version is built, not found. It's forged in the fire of consistency. 90 days of doing the work. 90 days of showing up when you're tired. 90 days of making discipline the standard. This is your moment. This is your time to prove to yourself that you can follow through, that you can build the life you've been dreaming about. And it starts with a simple decision. I will commit to 90 days of relentless focus. I will show up for myself every single day. I will become the person I know I'm capable of being, and I will not quit. Because once you decide that, once you commit to the sprint, everything changes. Your habits change, your mindset changes, your results change, and before you know it, you'll be living the life you once thought was impossible. But it's not impossible, it's just on the other side of discipline. So let's go. Lock in, commit, and run this 90-day winner habit sprint like your life depends on it, because it does. And I promise you, 90 days from now, you won't recognize yourself. You'll be stronger, sharper, more focused, and ready to take on anything. This is where it starts. This is where you win. Chapter 7. Micro wins, massive gains. Every success story you've ever heard, every person you look up to, every single champion you admire, they all have something in common. And no, it's not luck, it's not talent. And it's definitely not some superhuman ability. It's something much simpler. They understand the power of micro wins, small victories, little daily decisions that might look insignificant in the moment, but over time they stack, they compound. And before you know it, they've built something massive, something unstoppable, something the world calls success. But here's the secret no one tells you. Those micro wins, they're available to you right now, and they are the key to unlocking the life you want. You don't need a massive breakthrough to change your life. You don't need some giant opportunity to finally show up and prove you're ready. You need small wins, daily victories, tiny actions done consistently that build trust with yourself and create momentum you can't buy anywhere else. And when you commit to those micro wins, when you show up for them day in and day out, that's when the real change happens. That's when the results start coming faster than you ever thought possible. Because momentum isn't something you wait for, it's something you create, and it starts small. Think about it. A single push-up doesn't change your body, but if you do 1 today, then 2 tomorrow, and 3 the next day, it becomes a habit. That habit leads to strength. That strength leads to confidence, and that confidence changes everything. One small decision leads to another. That's the chain reaction of success, and you are always one decision away from starting it. You don't need to climb the whole mountain today. You just need to take the next step, and then the next, and then another. That's the mindset of a winner. That's how champions are built. The reason most people stay stuck isn't because they don't have big dreams. It's because they're so focused on the end result that they paralyze themselves. They stare at the top of the mountain, thinking about how far away it is, and they forget that every journey starts the same way, with a single step, a small win. Something you can do today that makes you just 1% better, 1% closer, 1% stronger. If you make it your mission to find those 1% wins every single day, you will be shocked at where you end up a year from now. You will blow your own mind with what you've built, but you've got to respect the process. You have to understand that small doesn't mean insignificant. Small means manageable, small means sustainable, and small, when done consistently, becomes unstoppable. You don't need to go all out for 1 week and then crash. You need to find your pace and stay with it. Keep showing up, keep stacking the wins, keep building momentum, one choice at a time. This is the truth. Success isn't sexy. It's not always flashy. It's a grind. It's the unglamorous, uncelebrated work that nobody sees. It's waking up early and reading 5 pages. It's showing up at the gym when you're tired and doing 1 more set. It's turning down the easy option because you're focused on your goals. In those moments, it might not feel like you're doing anything big, but that's where the magic is. Because while everyone else is chasing instant gratification, you're planting seeds that will grow into something unshakable. And here's the thing, the more micro wins you stack, the more confident you become. Every time you show up for yourself, you build trust. You teach yourself that you are the kind of person who follows through. And that belief, that changes everything. Because when you trust yourself, you stop hesitating. You stop questioning whether or not you're capable. You already know you are because you've proven it to yourself, 1 win at a time. Let me give it to you straight. If you can't win the small battles, you'll never win the big ones. If you can't conquer the decision to wake up when the alarm goes off, how are you going to handle the big opportunities when they come? If you can't stay disciplined with the little things, how will you stay disciplined when the stakes are higher? The small wins prepare you. They build your mental toughness. They create the foundation you need to handle more responsibility, more pressure, more success. And if you skip this part of the process, you're skipping the very thing that makes winning sustainable. You have to start thinking about momentum like it's your secret weapon. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, you add another layer to your momentum. Every time you stick to your plan, instead of giving in to distractions, you add another layer. Before you know it, you're moving with so much energy, so much focus, that quitting isn't even an option anymore. That's how winners think. They create momentum by stacking micro wins until the path forward becomes automatic. You don't need to be perfect to win. You need to be consistent. And that consistency is built on small decisions, one at a time. You drink water instead of soda. You stretch instead of scrolling. You write the email instead of procrastinating. These aren't big moves, but they are the right moves. And when you make enough of them, you get results. Period. That's how this works. You don't need a miracle. You need micro wins. And let me tell you something else. It doesn't take long to start feeling the difference. You'll notice it within days. Your energy will shift. Your focus will sharpen. You'll start seeing opportunities you never noticed before. Why? Because you're training your mind to focus on progress. You're training yourself to look for the win. And when you do that, you find it, you create it, you multiply it. The life you want isn't found in some distant future. It's built today in the small things, in the little choices that seem easy to ignore but make all the difference. If you want to build something extraordinary, if you want to live a life that commands respect, you have to become obsessed with the micro wins. You have to hunt them down. You have to make it your mission to find them every single day, and you have to stack them one on top of the other until you've built something unbreakable. I want you to think about the next 24 hours. What micro wins can you claim? Where can you show up for yourself in the small moments? Because that's where your power is. It's not in the massive overnight transformation. It's in the daily disciplines, the quiet victories, the decisions nobody claps for, but that change your life anyway. This is your time. This is your season. And you are not here to play small. You are here to win. You are here to dominate. And it starts now. One micro win at a time. Stack them, build momentum, and watch how unstoppable you become. Chapter 8. Burn the boats. Make success non-negotiable. The day you decide to go all in on yourself is the day everything changes. It's not the day you get lucky. It's not the day someone hands you an opportunity. It's the day you stop giving yourself an exit, the day you stop negotiating with your excuses, the day you burn the boats. As long as you keep giving yourself a way out, you will keep finding reasons to hold back. As long as you leave a back door open, you'll keep walking through it every time things get uncomfortable, every time things get hard. But the ones who win, the ones who rise above, the ones who build lives that other people admire, they do one thing differently. They make success non-negotiable. They don't dabble. They don't play around. They don't try. They commit fully, completely, with everything they've got. You have to understand, you are not going to get extraordinary results by playing it safe. You are not going to live the life you were born to live by keeping one foot in and one foot out. The people who succeed at the highest levels, they have no plan B. They have no backup plan because failure is not an option for them. It's not because they're fearless. It's because they've made a decision. They've committed so fully to their mission, to their vision, to their goals, that they have no choice but to figure it out. And that level of commitment forces them to become resourceful. It forces them to find a way, because when you have no other choice but to succeed, you tap into parts of yourself you didn't even know existed. And if you're honest with yourself right now, you'll probably admit that you've been holding something back. You've been playing it safe. You've been waiting for the right time, waiting for a sign, waiting until you feel more ready. But the truth is, you will never feel ready. You will always have doubts. You will always have fears. That's part of the process. And if you keep waiting to feel ready, you're going to be waiting for the rest of your life. At some point, you have to draw the line. You have to say, enough is enough. I'm done with the excuses. I'm done with the half-hearted effort. I'm all in, no matter what. Burning the boats isn't about being reckless. It's about being committed. It's about creating a level of urgency that forces you to show up at your best every single day. Because when you have no other option but to win, you find a way to win. You stop looking for easy and you start looking for effective. You stop worrying about comfort and you start focusing on progress. And when you do that, something incredible happens. You stop thinking like someone who's hoping to succeed, and you start thinking like someone who expects to succeed. And that shift in mindset changes everything. When you burn the boats, you change the way you show up. You move with purpose. You act with urgency. You focus like your life depends on it, because in a way it does. Your dreams depend on it. Your future depends on it. The life you want to build depends on it, and you can't afford to keep playing small. You can't afford to keep waiting. Life doesn't wait for you to be ready. Opportunities don't wait for you to feel confident. Success doesn't wait for you to believe in yourself. You have to move first. You have to lead yourself first. You have to act before you feel ready. That's what burning the boats looks like. And I know what you're thinking. What if I fail? What if I go all in and it doesn't work? What if I give everything I have and I still come up short? But the real question is, what if you never try? What if you spend your whole life playing it safe and never find out what you're capable of? What if you look back one day and realize you never even gave yourself a chance? That's the real risk. The real failure is never going all in. The real failure is holding back and playing small because you were too afraid to find out how powerful you really are. Burning the boats doesn't guarantee success, but it guarantees that you'll find out who you really are. It guarantees that you'll discover a level of strength, discipline, and resilience you didn't even know you had. And once you tap into that, success becomes inevitable. Because when you're all in, when you have no choice but to figure it out, you do whatever it takes. You stay later, you push harder, you find solutions, you get creative. You keep going long after everyone else has given up. That's what separates the winners from everyone else. Not talent, not luck, not circumstances. Commitment. Relentless, unwavering commitment. You have to stop entertaining your limitations. You have to stop giving your doubts a seat at the table. You have to stop listening to the voice in your head that keeps telling you to play it safe. That voice is lying to you. It's trying to keep you comfortable. It's trying to protect you from failure, from rejection, from discomfort. But comfort is the enemy of growth. Comfort is the enemy of progress. And the longer you stay comfortable, the longer you stay stuck. The life you want is not found inside your comfort zone. It's waiting for you on the other side of commitment, on the other side of fear, on the other side of going all in. When you burn the boats, you stop entertaining failure as an "I need you to hear this right now." Failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of it. It's built into the process. Every step forward you take, every risk you embrace, every new level you try to reach, failure is standing there waiting. The people who win don't run from it. They expect it. They plan for it. They are mentally prepared for the hit. And when it comes, they don't fold. They don't break. They take it, they learn from it, and they move forward smarter, stronger, sharper. Because failure is feedback. That's all it is. It's information. It's data. It's the world showing you what needs work, what needs improvement, what needs adjustment. And if you can learn to see it that way, instead of seeing it as a dead end, you flip the entire game on its head. You stop fearing failure. You start using it. And that's when your life changes. You have to understand, failure is inevitable. You can't avoid it. If you play small, if you stay in your comfort zone, if you never try anything new, sure, you might avoid failing, but you also avoid growing. You avoid becoming more. You avoid reaching your potential, and that's the real loss. That's the real failure, not trying at all. Playing it safe might feel secure, but it's robbing you of the life you could have. You have to be willing to take the shot. You have to be willing to put yourself out there, knowing you might fall flat on your face. Because the only way you fail for good is if you stay down. I know that sounds simple. I know people say it all the time, but I'm not talking about cliches here. I'm talking about rewiring the way you respond to failure on a deep level. Because if you don't train yourself to respond with resilience, you're going to hesitate. You're going to second-guess yourself. You're going to hold back when you should be pushing forward. And the only way to fix that is to make failure something you are not afraid of, something you are ready for, something you can use. Imagine if you could get to the place where failure didn't rattle you, where it didn't shake your confidence, where it didn't make you question who you are or what you're capable of. Imagine if failure felt like just another step forward, just another lesson, just another opportunity to get better. That's the mindset you need to build. That's what makes you powerful. Because when you're not afraid to fail, you'll do the things other people won't. You'll take the risks they avoid. You'll push when they quit. And over time, that's what separates winners from everyone else. Not talent, not intelligence, resilience. You have to train your mind to see failure differently, and that starts with how you talk to yourself when you fail. And you will. You need to be the first person in your corner. You need to be the one saying, "This isn't the end. This is a new beginning." You need to remind yourself that failure doesn't define you. Your response does. What you do next is what matters, not what just happened. Winners talk to themselves in a way that keeps them moving forward. They don't beat themselves up. They don't spiral. They stay focused. They stay calm. They stay in control. And control is everything when it comes to failure, because failure can either make you better or make you bitter. It can make you stronger or make you weaker. It all depends on what you focus on. Do you focus on what went wrong? Or do you focus on what you can learn? Do you focus on the loss? Or do you focus on the lesson? That decision right there is the difference between someone who keeps rising and someone who stays stuck. And it's a decision you make every single time life knocks you down. I need you to remember something. Nobody is coming to save you from failure. Nobody is going to come along and protect you from the hard lessons. That's on you. You have to build the mindset. You have to develop the skill set. You have to be the one who makes failure your ally instead of your enemy. And once you do that, you start to see failure as part of the process. You start to see it as something necessary. You start to welcome it. Because you know every time you fail, you're getting closer. You're getting better. You're leveling up. It's like lifting weights. You don't get stronger by avoiding the heavy sets. You get stronger by embracing the challenge, by pushing through the pain, by doing the hard reps when your muscles are burning and your body wants to quit. That's how you grow physically, and it's how you grow mentally. Failure is the heavy set. It's the thing that makes you stronger when you push through it. And if you avoid it, you never build the strength you need to win. You have to start thinking like a champion. Champions are not afraid to lose. They're afraid of not giving everything they've got. They're afraid of holding back. They're afraid of quitting. That's the real failure. Not trying, not giving your best, not showing up. So show up. Fail if you have to. Fail 100 times if you have to. But keep getting up, keep learning, keep growing. Because if you do that, success becomes inevitable. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And I want you to know, failure doesn't make you less. It doesn't make you weak. It doesn't make you unworthy. Failure makes you human. It makes you real. It makes you relatable. And if you handle it right, it makes you powerful. The scars you get from failing aren't signs of weakness. They are proof that you tried. They are proof that you were brave enough to go for it when others were too scared to move. Wear those scars with pride, They tell your story. They show the world you're still here, still fighting, still rising. This is your time. This is your moment to rewire the way you think about failure, to flip the script, to take back control. Failure is not the end. It's the beginning. It's where you get to find out what you're made of. It's where you get to grow. It's where you get to rise. And if you embrace it, if you welcome it, if you use it, you will become unstoppable. You will become the person you were always meant to be. You will live the life you were always meant to live. So go, fail, fall, make mistakes, and then get up, learn, grow, and do it again. That's how you win. That's how you succeed. That's how you become legendary. Because failure is not your enemy. It's your teacher. And it's time to learn. It's time to grow. It's time to win. Chapter 9. Design your environment for automatic success. Every breakthrough begins long before anyone else sees it. Long before anyone claps for you or asks how you did it. Long before the world recognizes you. The moment you change your life is the moment you change your environment. Not by chance, not by accident, but by choice. It's the moment you take control of your space, your habits, your surroundings, and everything you let into your life. That's when things start moving. That's when life begins to shift. Because the truth is, the environment you create shapes the results you live with. It either holds you back or propels you forward. It either drains you or fuels you. And you are in charge. You are the architect of your surroundings. The world might throw distractions at you, but you decide if they stay. When you understand that, when you take ownership of it, you gain a power that most people never tap into. You create an environment that makes success automatic. Imagine waking up every day and stepping into a space that pulls you toward your goals without even thinking. Imagine sitting down to work and everything around you is designed to sharpen your focus, not break it. Imagine feeling energized just by being in the space you created. That's not an accident. That's intentional. When you build an environment that works for you instead of against you, it's like flipping a switch inside of you. You start showing up differently. You start thinking differently. You start moving like someone who's already won, not because you're waiting for motivation to hit, but because your environment leaves no room for excuses. You need to understand something very real about how your brain works. It's constantly picking up cues from what's around you. Your environment is always sending signals. Signals that tell your brain it's time to focus, time to relax, time to push, or time to quit. If you're surrounded by clutter, by noise, by things that pull you away from your priorities, those signals are killing your discipline. Every notification, every distraction, every item in your space that doesn't serve your mission is costing you energy. It's draining your focus. Over time, you wonder why you're tired, why you can't stay consistent, why you can't find your rhythm. But it's not always about willpower. Sometimes it's about your environment. You don't need more discipline, you need fewer distractions. When you design an environment that supports who you're becoming, you make success easier. You don't have to fight for it every day. You don't have to constantly rely on discipline because your space is already moving you in the right direction. The decisions get simpler, the energy is better. You have clarity, and clarity is power. When you walk into a space that makes you feel like a leader, you act like one. When your environment reflects your values, you live by them. This is the kind of life you deserve. A life where every piece of your world is helping you, not hurting you. It starts with awareness. You have to look around and ask yourself, does this space reflect where I'm going? Does it inspire me to be better? Does it make it easier to win the day? If it doesn't, it's time to change it. Not later, not when you have more time. Now. Success doesn't wait for you to get around to it. Success shows up when you do the things most people ignore. And your environment is one of the biggest levers you can pull. Think about your workspace. Is it clean? Is it organized? Does it make you want to sit down and focus? Or is it cluttered with distractions? Old paperwork, unopened emails, random stuff that doesn't need to be there. Every item you allow into your space takes up mental energy. Every time your eyes land on something irrelevant, you're losing focus. You're splitting your attention, and success demands full attention. Your mind can't be at its sharpest if it's fighting through clutter. Clear the space, clear the noise. Create an environment where your brain can breathe, where your focus can sharpen, where you can get into flow faster. And it's not just your physical space, it's your digital space too. Your phone, your computer, your inbox. Are they tools that serve your mission, or are they distractions pulling you away? How many times do you pick up your phone and find yourself scrolling without thinking? How many notifications are stealing your attention? You need to take control of that. Turn off what doesn't serve you. Silence the noise. Create digital spaces that are clean and intentional. If your phone is a distraction, change it. Put it in another room while you work. Delete the apps that waste your time. This isn't about convenience, it's about control. Now think about the people in your environment. Who are you spending time with? Who's in your ear? Who's shaping your mindset? Because the people around you either pull you forward or hold you back. They either challenge you to rise or make it comfortable to stay the same. You need to be ruthless about who gets your energy. It's not personal, it's necessary. You have to protect your space, your energy, your focus. If you're surrounded by people who complain, who make excuses, who settle, you'll start thinking that's normal. You'll start lowering your standards. But if you surround yourself with people who push you, who are hungry, who are disciplined, you'll level up without even thinking about it. Your environment shapes you, so build one that demands your best. When you create an environment for success, it changes your identity. You stop being someone who's trying to be disciplined. You become someone who just is. You don't think about it. You don't force it. You live it because everything around you supports that version of yourself. It's not a fight anymore. It's who you are. I know you might be thinking, I don't have a perfect space. I don't have all the resources. But it's not about perfect. It's about intentional. You don't need a fancy office. You don't need the dream house. You just need to make the space you have right now work for you. Clean it. Organize it. Get rid of what's holding you back. Make it reflect your mission. Make it a place where you can win. Because once you control your space, you start to control your life. And it doesn't stop there. When you get your environment right, your habits get easier. You don't have to think about drinking more water if the water bottle is already on your desk. You don't have to think about reading if the book is already in front of you. You don't have to think about working out if your shoes are by the door. You create cues that trigger the behaviors you want. You automate success. And the more you automate it, the easier it gets. The less you rely on motivation, the more you rely on systems. That's how you win long term. You are the architect of your life. You get to decide what stays, what goes, what gets your attention, and what doesn't. And when you take that responsibility seriously, everything changes. You stop being reactive. You stop waiting for motivation. You stop getting pulled in 100 directions. You start leading your life with intention, with clarity, with discipline. This is your time to take control, to design a space that reflects your greatness. To build an environment that makes winning automatic. No more distractions, no more chaos, just clarity, just focus, just progress. And when you look back months from now at how much you've grown, how much you've built, how far you've come, you'll realize it all started the day you decided to design your environment for success. The day you stopped leaving it to chance and took full control. That day is today. Right now. So clear the space. Clear the noise, build the environment, and let's get to work. Success isn't just about effort, it's about design. And you are the designer.